Welcome to this video and welcome to the channel. This is the first in a series of videos from my photographic journey to New York. What an absolutely amazing photographic experience that I just am so happy to be able to share with you. So without further ado, let's get going. In this video, I'll be sharing with you a series of images taken around the Times Square area in New York. It's an absolute cacophony of light and sound. I'll be explaining why and how I captured the images, along with some technical data for you to review those. So please sit back, enjoy the images. Hopefully you'll be inspired. And if this is something you find useful, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be releasing a series of further videos coming from New York shortly. This image epitomizes New York in the rain. We have the New York taxi, we have the irony of the Superdry logos on full display, and we have the steam rising from the scene as well. And the I love New York. When looking at this image, it just says New York in the rain, and that's why I captured this particular image. A number of these street images were captured on my Sigma 30mm lens, which I'll be making a separate video of as well, so please be sure to check that out. I captured this more abstract image, the rainfall on the table in the foreground in focus, with the lights and reflections out of focus and the person walking by under the cover of an umbrella. The lighting effect in the rain of Times Square really lends itself brilliantly to this kind of abstract image. And this image represents the life of Times Square. You have the tourists taking the selfie in front of the living statue. I particularly love the spelling mistake in the living statue in trying to deliver a serious message as an angel. I took this image because I think it represents a number of facets of modern life. And in a similar vein, I captured this one of the tourist walking down the street being photographed for a social media presence. This image works particularly well in terms of the layering and the character positioning within the road, and then the leading lines drawing the eye into the traffic into the distance. This image just works on so many levels, not only technically, but also on a representation of modern life again. This one I refer to as the hard sell. The street vendor trying to sell services, leaning forward towards the woman who's trying to shelter from the rain in Times Square. The intensity of his stare towards the woman. I'll let you make your own mind up about what this scene can represent. I feel there's an intensity about this image that can make some people uncomfortable. This one just was crying out to be made into a black and white image. The homeless guy sitting on the bottom bench, whilst the tourist stands above, towering over him, whilst looking at the view, completely oblivious, or apparently completely oblivious to the homeless guy's plight. I think this image really does go a long way in representing modern life. No visit to Times Square would be complete without a shot of the image billboards. In this photograph, I really was intrigued by the eyes and the way that the eyes draw you into the image itself. It's so obviously Times Square, but the eyes really are entrancing, particularly the bottom two eyes, and the richness of the colour is absolutely incredible in this image. I have done a little bit of editing in Lightroom to create a cinematic effect on this image using the oranges and teals. I'll also be making a video on this, so to be sure to subscribe to make sure you get notified when I drop that video. Whilst there are a lot of images of the traffic around New York, I felt this image from Times Square using the really wide format to emphasize the traffic. Framed in the bottom right by the police lights, the signs leading the eye into the distance from the right-hand edge, really called out for this wide landscape image mode. With this image, we're in amongst the traffic. We're using the leading lines along the school bus, and imagine being in a school bus in the middle of New York, in the middle of Times Square, during rush hour. The leading lines of the bus lead us to the female crossing the road, and then the vertical lines of the buildings leading into the distance draw the eye further into the image, epitomising the busyness of the traffic around Times Square and the need for the traffic and the people to coexist. This empty bar really captured my attention in the middle of the vibrancy and life of Times Square. The symmetry of the flowers on the bar and the lights leading into the darkness of the bar create a very strong image. And again, what I've done with this image in Lightroom is to create a cinematic effect. I hope that you found those images inspirational. I will be also in the future releasing a series of other videos on New York. So please, if you've enjoyed this and found it useful, remember to like and subscribe and feel free to share it across different social media platforms. Thanks for watching and your support for the channel. This is very, very much appreciated. And please remember to check out some of my other videos on the channel.